The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to this morning's helpline session with your host, James McDonald.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea, and I do apologize for being a little late here this morning to get started. Andrea and I were heavily engaged in conversation there, and I wasn't sure if it was going to end. Just kidding, Andrea, you're a delight. Welcome to our Monday morning session here. Remember that every Monday morning, the purpose of our Q&A session is to discuss anything that might be on your mind at all. We can discuss lead generation, lead conversion, setting up systems, USP, presentations, anything at all that would be helpful for you. I'm certain would be helpful for many, many of your fellow coaching students who are also on the webinar here this morning as well. So I really encourage you to type any questions or thoughts into the chat. Volunteer to open up your microphone live and we can have a little talk here as well. Before we get started, a few little things I would like to mention. We are in June now. It's June the 1st. Happy June the 1st, everybody. And on June the 26th, which is the last Friday in June, is our boot camp in Huntington Beach. So please make sure that you are registered. You can hit reserve your seat right on the coaching website, and it is going to be an awesome event. We're probably going to have a couple of hundred of you. It's only for coaching members, so it's a much more advanced day. There is no cost to attending. There is absolutely nothing to purchase there. Do not bring your wallet or checkbook. Unless you'd like to buy Lester lunch, which you won't. So no, it's going to be a phenomenal day, and I assure you that no one ever regrets making the effort to get there for that day. We'll start at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll go right up till 6:30 in the evening, and it's a really, really great day. So I do encourage you, if you're on the fence about it, jump over to our side and make the commitment to come. If you'd like to bring somebody on your team with you, you can certainly do that. Be encouraged to do that. What I wouldn't recommend, though, is don't bring somebody who's not a part of your team. You know, you're being really nice and there's someone in your office that's interested in the system and what you're doing, and you think, well, I know what I'll do. I'll bring them to the boot camp and they can hear what this is all about. But the truth is they won't, because as I said, we're going to conduct the boot camp knowing that you are already involved in the coaching program. You've already been to the super conference. You've already participated on numerous sessions. You've already had one-on-one coaching sessions with your coach. You're already deep into the implementation and understanding process, so we can start at a much higher level. Somebody coming in new and cold isn't going to have the foggiest clue what we're talking about. There's going to be a ton of holes in it, so I discourage you from doing that. Please be encouraged to bring team members, partners, spouses, but I really wouldn't recommend bringing another realtor who isn't already involved in the system. Instead, bring them to the super conference in September in Anaheim or November in San Francisco. That would be a smarter idea. Okay, and of course, this Thursday and Friday is our role play and our ad clinic session. Now, I want to begin this morning's helpline session by actually discussing an ad clinic related topic. One of our coaching students in LA sent me a Facebook ad, and also I requested they send me their Facebook landing, or the landing page as well, because what is happening is, although it's getting some clicks, it's not getting any messages left. And what the ad is offering is an online home evaluation, but it's very, very specific to a type of property. What the ad, and I don't know if, for those of you that participated on the Friday ad clinic session, I think this ad may have come up. Andrea, you can let me know. As you know, I wasn't present on that webinar, but the ad offered a free evaluation for your townhome. And what we always want to do with these ads is we want to be, in the beginning, you want to think of it like this. The broader the ad is, the more people it's going to appeal to. The more narrow the ad is, the more narrow the audience it's going to appeal to. But at the same time, the more specific the information is about that prospect, the more likely it is that they'll be compelled to want it. So it is a challenge. It is a challenge to make that balance. We don't want to eliminate good prospects, but at the same time, we want to make the information so that it's specific enough that people would want it. So the ad offered a free online home evaluation of your Redondo Beach townhome. And because it specifies townhome, what that means is everybody that sees that offer to find out what their Redondo Beach townhome, they see Redondo Beach and find out what your home is worth. But what you're doing is you're saying, if your home isn't a townhome, then you should eliminate this offer. And it also means that the photograph in the ad is going to be representative of the home that they live in. You need to be very, very conscious of this. It's almost like you have to put yourself in their position, in their shoes, and see this as they would see this. If I don't live in a townhome, I might click on the ad, but the website talks all about townhomes in Redondo Beach. If I don't live in a townhome, if I live in one of the other 8 out of 10 properties that aren't a townhome, I'm going to likely eliminate. But the other thing is, even if I did live in a townhome, when you use a picture like this, it's very specific. You do run the risk of eliminating a prospect because my definition of my townhome looks nothing like this property, and I'm not even certain that this is a Redondo Beach property that's being pictured here. What I might want to do is this. First of all, why don't you start by just offering Redondo Beach? All right, Redondo Beach is small enough of an area where just by saying find out what your Redondo Beach home is worth online is a specific offer. We don't want to eliminate people just because they don't own a townhome, they own a beach home. If I own a beach home, do you want to eliminate me? I doubt it. So Redondo Beach, it's a smaller community. I do believe that's where the Beach Boys are from, by the way. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but I do believe that is the case. Either way, so what we're doing is we're being specific enough that the ad is only seen by those that live in Redondo Beach, which means if you're remotely considering selling your home in Redondo Beach, you'd be compelled by that message that specifically says find out what your Redondo Beach property is worth online. But not eliminated because it says find out what your Redondo Beach townhome is worth online, and you don't own a townhome, or you do own a townhome, but this picture isn't representative of your townhome. So this is what I want you to try, is I want you to eliminate that picture, and instead I want you to use either a map of Redondo Beach or maybe a picture that is more representative of properties in Redondo Beach, like a shot of Redondo Beach from the pier, from the ocean, something like that, where no one is using that image as a representation of their property. If anything, you want to give them an idea of what they're going to receive, you know, what they perceive as what they're going to see, like a sample of printout is a very good idea. The bottom line is this. Eliminating townhome and focusing on Redondo Beach broadens the message. I really want you to generate response. So I would say that if being too narrow got us nothing, then we need to be broader. So how we're going to be broader is we're going to eliminate townhomes and we're going to offer Redondo Beach properties, period. And when we do that, we're opening the funnel and we're now running an ad that is applicable to everybody that owns a home or a property in Redondo Beach that is remotely considering selling it. Now this ad can appeal to them as well, and hopefully and likely that results in a lot more than 66 prospects clicking on the ad, and of course that means more also requesting the information. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that. I'm not sure if Adele is on the webinar here, but this is something that was on my mind this weekend and I wanted to share. Okay, now that doesn't mean that today is our marketing webinar by any stretch, but this is what was brought to my attention and I did want to address it and offer some suggestions. You know, when you compartmentalize marketing, or certainly the element of marketing involving running the ads, you know, something that Craig says that really does make a lot of sense is that a good marketer really is just really good at testing. So what they do is a good marketer will test a whole bunch of different approaches, and a good marketer very quickly identifies what doesn't work. and they immediately either get rid of it or change it. It's one of the two. You either get rid of it or you change it. But if something doesn't work, you definitely don't do it that way ever again. So we got 66 clicks and no messages. That means we need to do something different. We don't want to eliminate it because it did get 66 clicks. So prospects clearly saw it and were compelled, but we need to change something about it. So the thing that we're going to change is that. But I want everyone to consider also, when it comes to a marketing message, the idea of your marketing message is that you want to be specific enough in the message that it's compelling to the prospect because you're talking about them and something of interest to them. But you also want to be broad enough that you're not limiting your audience so much that you don't generate any response. Like, I'll give you an example. When you advertise a property for sale, it's very, very specific. So a prospect looking for a property exactly like the one that you've got listed and you're advertising is very compelling for that one prospect. But the problem is, we're not running ads to appeal to one prospect. Although to that one prospect, it is quite compelling. We'd rather run an ad that's equally as compelling but broader and more compelling to more prospects. So instead of offering a property in that neighborhood, we offer all the properties in that neighborhood. Instead of offering a 4-bedroom home with a pool, we offer a free list of 4-bedroom homes with pools. It's equally as compelling to that person looking for that property, but it's wider. It's got wider appeal. So when you're designing a marketing message, and that even pertains to USPs, when you're designing a performance guarantee, you want it to be specific enough that it would compel somebody, but you want it to be broad enough that it would also appeal to a large audience, but still compel the audience because it's specific enough. And yes, that's the fine line that you're balancing. That is what makes a good marketer, is finding that balance of not saying your home sold in 400 days or I'll pay you $1. See the difference? That's not compelling at all. We need to be a lot more specific than that. Your new market home sold in 62 days guaranteed, or I'll save you $3,000 on closing. That's a more compelling, specific offer that's still broad enough to appeal to anyone looking to sell their home in new market. Okay, let's do this, Andrea. Why don't we, first of all, thank you for finding the ad for me. Why don't we take any and all questions or live chats or anything at all. Remember, the Monday morning helpline is my favorite because we can discuss anything you like. We can even do role playing if you want to. If you have any objections that you're curious about, how would we handle that objection? What are some of the things that we might be able to say? Maybe it's a face-to-face objection. Maybe it's an over-the-phone objection. Whatever. This is definitely the forum to discuss that, and we can brainstorm these different things and come up with some really good ideas. So having said that, Andrea, why don't we see what we've got?
Okay, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and type your question in the chat box, or if you have a working mic or on the telephone, click the orange or yellow hand icon you see on your webinar control panel. We can open your mic to the group. Our first chat question comes from Sherry. How can we modify the guarantee letters at the end of the seller buyer presentation? I was able to edit the presentation, but not the agreement to the end. She needs to change we to I.
And now, is this in the PowerPoint presentation, but it's a picture of the,
yes.
Like, it sounds to me like what you're talking about is you need to take the written, either the contract or the VIP buyer contract. And I don't know if you've ever made a PowerPoint slide, but all you have to do is you take a blank slide and you can add an image to that slide. So the image that you're going to add is the edited image of your guarantee. So I don't know, did I explain that well, Andrea?
Yes, and she's confirming it is the PowerPoint. So yes, they are just pictures of the agreements or the certificates at the end of the PowerPoint presentations for either the buyer or the sellers. And when you're online, you can, in the certificate generator, they come off as PDFs. So if you don't have a PDF generator, what you'll need to do is find it in Word somehow. You're not able to change the we to I on our system in the coaching website. Your coach may have a copy of Word. From what I understand, that's the best place to go to get anything you need in a Word format.
Yeah, I've got this little app on my phone that I use, Okay, now I'm not Techie Von Techerson or anything like that, but this really works for me. What I have on my phone is I've got a little app called Scanner Pro, and it'll take a picture of anything, and it'll turn it into a PDF or into whatever file, whatever kind of file you want. Even if you want it, if you need it to be edited, you can do that. So as long as you can take an image of it, then it'll turn it into like a document, and then from there you can change it and you can do things like that. But you know what? Here's the thing: if you need to bring this to somebody who has to make some of these changes, you do understand you're doing it once. It's one time. As far as, and maybe you're not asking this, but how you get it into the PowerPoint presentation is far easier than you think. Once you've made these changes, all you have to do is just save the image and then copy it onto a blank slide in PowerPoint, and that couldn't be easier. It's literally copy and paste. So that's not really a challenge at all. And by the way, how about this? Hide the slide in your presentation and pull out the real thing. You're sitting with them. When you get to that slide, instead of having an image of the slide, you are sitting right in front of them. You have the actual guarantee or whatever it is, the agreement. You need to pull out the actual physical agreement. Is probably better at that point than having it on the screen anyway. And even if you did have it on the screen, they're not reading it on the screen. You're handing them a copy of it. So the fact that yours says I or we, you definitely need to make those edits on your version of the agreement. But the one on the screen, at this point, it's in their hand. They're reading it in their hand. They're not reading what is on the screen. Anyway, so I don't know, maybe we've gone off in the wrong direction on this, Sherry, but you can type into the chat and correct me if I'm off base.
Okay, our next chat question comes from Joe. He's getting ready to order some postcards, and he's wanting your opinion on, he wants to do less branded front and back, targeting sellers, or thinking of less branded front. And okay,
I agree 100%.
Okay.
Yes, the postcard that you want to begin with and probably are going to send out forever and ever offers an online home evaluation very specific to their marketplace. So it includes the name of the marketplace in the offer, in the headline, and there's nothing distracting on the postcard at all. Nothing distracting. There's no great big 1995 computer. I know that on some of the examples, unfortunately, that's there. In spite of my begging for them to be removed, they look dated, and there are better images, more subtle, an illustration, a laser thin illustration of a computer mouse is much more subtle and doesn't draw attention away from the WIFM, which is find out what your Redondo Beach home is worth online. That's what we want them to read. We don't want anybody's eyeballs straying and looking at anything other than find out what your Redondo Beach home is worth online. Now, on the other side, what you want to do is you want to make the same offer, but using the hotline, preferably. If you can't, because you don't have a hotline, then get a hotline. But what it needs to say is find out what homes in your Redondo Beach neighborhood are selling for, and then offer a free area home sales report, 24 hours recorded info, and you have your 800 number. So they're both offering an area home sales report. One side says find out what your home is worth online. The other says find out what homes in your neighborhood are selling for. One uses a website, one uses a hotline. It's two-sided. The front side that's going to have the Every Door Direct little stamp on it is going to be the online home evaluation side, and it's important that it is because it is going to go face up in the mailbox. All right, so remember that. It is going to go face up in the mailbox, the side that says find out what your Redondo Beach home is worth online. And of course, I'm replacing Redondo Beach with whatever your neighborhood marketplace, wherever you're sending them to. But do be specific. And that's true with the domain name on there as well. But you are right on the money. Go less branded. Include your disclaimer at the bottom. Not intended to solicit properties currently listed for sale. Whatever your required license number, what have you. But but that's very subtle and mice type along the bottom. What we're going to make sure is that everybody that sorts their mail is going to read that headline, find out what your home is worth online. And then those that are considering making a move are going to put it on the kitchen counter, or at least a whole lot of them are. And then some of them are actually going to go on the website. And some of them are actually going to fill out their information. And some of them are going to hit click, and some of them you're going to get a hold of, and some of them you're going to book listing appointments with, and some of them are going to result in for sale signs around the neighborhood. And then you're going to hit repeat, and you're going to do that over and over and over again every month, ultimately every other week to that specific neighborhood. And there you go. Good luck, Joe, and I'll look forward to seeing the results.
Okay, Maria's question. When getting a buyer lead that you have not been able to contact over several attempts, do you suggest that I put them on an automatic list anyway, or just send them a few properties and then keep trying? She says, however, I have found that if you can't reach them the first few hours, you generally won't at all.
Yeah, I don't quite agree with that. You know, I mean, the problem is if you believe that, then it becomes true to you. So then what happens is you try them 2 or 3 times, and then you say, well, you know what, you can only get a hold of them the first few hours, so I'm good. I tried, and now that's that. And I don't say that's quite true. Like calling a prospect back 5 times, you know, it becomes 5 times more likely that you'll reach that prospect than if you call them once. Like, think about it. If you attempt to reach a prospect once versus, let's say that somehow we could do a test where we took 20 prospects, and of those 20 prospects, we divided them up into 10, and we had one group of 10 where we followed up with them once. And then we had the other group of 10 where we followed up with each one of them 5 times. I don't think anybody on the webinar today would argue that we would likely reach more of the 10 in the group where we called them 5 times. And sometimes we would reach them on the first attempt, but sometimes we'd reach them on the second, third, fourth, and even the 5th attempt. So it just stands to reason that the more attempts you make, the more likely it is that you reach the prospect. Is it better to reach them more quickly? Sure. Is it more likely you'll reach them more quickly? Sure. But here's the deal. The number of times that you try to attempt to reach a prospect really depends on how many leads you're generating. If you told me, look, I'm generating 3, 4, 5 leads every day, then you're not going to be able to try them more than a few times before the new leads take over. Remember this rule of thumb. You always call the more recent leads back first. So here's the deal. I got someone from yesterday, and I tried them twice yesterday. I didn't reach them. So this morning, I'm going down to my office, and I'm like, I'm going to call that prospect back first thing. I'm going to call them. But when I get down here, my email inbox, I got a brand new lead that just came in. Who gets called first? Do I say, nope, I'm gonna call back that person from yesterday because I promised that's what I was going to get them. Then I'll get the new one. Incorrect. No. It's very simple, and there are no exceptions to the rule. The rule works like this. The most recent leads get called back first. They take priority. We don't say, well, the person I've already tried twice and didn't answer gets priority over the person that just requested information and I've never attempted. They are the person that gets the priority. So now here's the deal. If I came down to my office at 10 o'clock in the morning to make phone calls and I looked and I had 12 prospects and I knew that I had an hour and a half to make follow-up calls, then I'm probably not even going to get to the one from yesterday, right? I likely won't get to them. Well, not likely, but I might not get to them because the newer leads are always going to take priority. So when you say how many times am I attempting to reach them, the more the better. But the truth is it's going to depend on how many leads you generate. Now, as far as what to send them, honestly, what you don't want to do is demonstrate that you're willing to provide endless information without anything from them in return. What you're doing is you're teaching them that they can get information from you that is just as good as meeting you and giving up their anonymity as not. But that shouldn't be the way it works. In other words, if somebody said, I can provide you with really good information and you don't have to identify yourself or do anything, or I can offer you exactly the same information, but you have to give up your anonymity and identify yourself to me, what do you think a consumer would take? They would, of course, opt to be anonymous. So we're offering this compelling information, and we're making it easy and non-threatening for them to give up their information. We're providing them with that information one time, right? So everybody that requests the information, we provide it to, without exception. But that doesn't mean we're going to put them on some kind of a drip where they're going to receive properties from us on a regular basis, because what happens when you follow up with them in 2 weeks and they answer the phone and you say, hey, would you like to receive properties that match your home buying criteria? And they're like, I haven't even gotten through all the ones that you've sent me. You've already demonstrated that you're willing to send properties. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible. You know, I mean, I could convert that prospect. I could make a pretty good argument as to why, you know, what I'm offering is better, but it's unnecessary. What we want to demonstrate to the prospect, we want to be able to say, look, the way that you're going about finding your property is clearly not working, doing it the way you're doing it. If I know exactly what you're looking for in detail, I can send you the properties as they come on the market. To do that properly, you're going to need to spend 15 or 20 minutes. It's free, there's no obligation, and that makes sense. That makes sense to somebody who's motivated to spend several $100,000 or more on a property. So anyway, as I always do, I went off on a little bit of a tangent there. Sorry, not sorry. But let's take our next question, Andrea.
Okay, we have quite a few hand raised, so I thought we could move on to that for a little bit. We have Ben Stokes. Your mic is now open. Ben?
Hello, Ben.
I know we've had problems with his line in the past. He may be raising his hand by accident. Ben,
I was really stoked to talk to Ben Stokes.
You're so funny. You're so funny.
Thank you.
We have John Crane. Your mic is now open.
Mr. Crane.
Hi, how are you?
I'm excellent. How are you today?
Good. I was interested in role-playing a little.
All right. Let's do it. Is there anything particular, John, that you've been troubled by or having challenges with, or what brought this to mind?
I guess the handling of objections where they're working with someone else, or they just don't see the reason or the need to come for a 20-minute appointment.
Okay. Let's do this first. Let's just have a really brief discussion about that element of the script first. Then we'll do the role play once I can give you some food for thought on that. Okay, I want you to consider something. Did the prospect respond to your ad? Okay, I'll ask you some yes. Okay, they did respond to your ad. Okay, so does that mean that that prospect was looking where you ran your ad?
Yes.
Because in order to see your ad, they had to have been looking where you were running your ad. Okay, so is it also true then that if the agent that they were working with was providing them with all the properties they could ever want, that they wouldn't have the need to look for properties and therefore would never have seen your ad? Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Okay, so what we want to do is we want to be able to, if we need to, we want to tactfully be able to bring this up. Now, at the same time, just because an agent is sending them properties, just because a realtor has, shown them a property, does that mean that that person is 100% committed to working with that realtor?
No.
Okay, so that's important as well.
And they frequently work with multiple realtors.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Have you now? This is my last question before we do the role play. Have you ever worked with a buyer in any capacity, and that buyer ended up buying a property through another realtor?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, yes. And I knew you were going to say that, or I wouldn't have asked it, okay? Because just about all of us can say yes to that. Okay, so these are three things that I've established here that revolve around this. The first is this. We know that whatever they're getting from other realtors is insufficient. How do we know that? Because they're still looking for properties on their own, right? We know that because they couldn't have seen our ad otherwise. All right, so that's number one. Number two, are they committed to working exclusively with that realtor?
No.
And that's really, really important. Are they 100% committed to working with that realtor, even if that realtor is sending them property and showing them property and sending them information? Does it mean that they're 100% committed to that realtor? right? So
Right.
these are all of the things that you got to bear in mind. So in other words, if what this realtor is sending you isn't sufficient and you didn't have to meet with that realtor, maybe that's why you're not getting the properties that you want, right?
Okay.
So here's my argument. Hey, John, I don't want to meet with you because I've got another realtor that's sending me properties and I didn't have to meet with them. I say, well, John, are the properties that other realtor is sending you, are they sufficient? Are they great deals? Are they the kind of properties that you're looking for? Well, yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. Okay, well, John, with all due respect to the realtor that's helping you, if the properties that they were sending you were sufficient and they represented the great deals that you're looking for, why did you respond to my ad and why were you even looking for properties? I can only imagine it's because you're hoping to find something other than or better than what's being sent to you now. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely. That's perfect.
That's called mic drop. Boom.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
called logic. It's all it is logic. It is just logic, because the truth is that is what's happening here. So now I say this, John, the other agent that's sending you properties, I understand that they didn't ask you to meet with them, but maybe that's why the properties that you're receiving are insufficient. If we can sit down for 15 minutes and I know exactly what you're looking for in detail, I can be assured that I'm only sending you the best deals, the best properties that match exactly what you and your family are looking for, and not waste your time sending you stuff that's not of interest to you. It's free, as I said. There's no obligation whatsoever to buy anything, and I'm flexible. Are you sure you wouldn't reconsider a very brief 15-minute appointment at your convenience?
There's no way to say no to that.
There just isn't any way to say no to that.
Yeah.
Because I've beaten them over the head with a logic hammer, and it makes it hard. If their objection is, well, the other agent didn't make me meet with them, I know, but the other agent sucks.
Yeah, I'm not the other agent.
Right. Proof of that is you responded to my ad. If the other agent was sending you such great properties, what the heck are you doing looking at ads? What are you doing calling off ads? I'll tell you why, because you're missing out. That's why. And once you plant that, the prospects, they're every bit as logical as you and I on this call. They're every bit as logical. They're listening, not saying, geez, it's true. I did do that, didn't I? I did. So, okay, so having said that, let's do a role play, and I will be that buyer prospect that responded to your ad. So ring, ring, hello?
Yes, may I speak to James, please?
Yeah, this is James.
Oh, hi, James. My name's John Crane. I'm calling with Allstate Homes. And the reason I'm calling is because I received your request for the information you wanted, and I was about to send it to you, but I had a couple of follow-up questions.
First of all, what information was that?
You had responded to an ad for first-time home buyers stop renting?
Okay, yeah, the list of properties, the first-time buyer properties.
It was in the Penny Saver.
Right. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was just, I wasn't really looking to talk to a realtor. I just wanted to see what the properties were.
Okay, and that's fine. I want to get you the information in your hand, but unlike most agents, I don't want to sell you what you're not looking for. And
I'm not looking to get sold anything, actually.
Right. Well, I don't even want to give you a list of homes that don't apply. I want you to only have the homes that you actually might have interest in.
Okay, I need to stop you. John, you would be far better off just don't reinvent the wheel. Don't design a homemade script. Just follow the script. Listen, here's all you need to say. You've either prepared the information and sent it, or you're preparing the information and you're about to send it. That's it. None of this I need to ask you a few questions. I don't want to answer your questions.
Gotcha.
Right? Think about it. When you're the consumer and you walk into the store, if the salesperson says, hey, how you doing today? Look, I'm just going to ask you a few series of questions. You're like, oh my God, why the torture? It's not, just follow the script. The script wasn't thrown together like, one morning. This is evolved over years of massive success. It's very simple. You requested a free list of first-time buyer properties. I'm preparing that list of properties right now, and you should receive it shortly. I hope that's okay. And you know what I'm going to say to that? Thank you. Listen, you've got to elicit a reaction of appreciation from the prospect, or asking them the questions is going to be hard because you're going to be met with opposition. You have to get them to say something along the lines of thank you. So when you say, look, before I send that, I've just got some questions I need to pepper. No, there is no thank you to that. You know what they're thinking? Oh my God, I got to hang up on this guy, because it doesn't elicit any kind of appreciation. All you need to say is, I've prepared and sent the information, or I've prepared and I'm getting ready. You should receive it shortly. And the prospect, you know what they'll say to that? Thanks. Then once they say thank you, then you can say, not, now can I ask you some questions? Don't say that. Just ask. Just say, by the way, are you thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months? And whatever you do, don't say, I'm not trying to sell you this. I want to sell you. Remember, the purpose of the script is to determine their timing and motivation. So don't assume how good I am. You need to let the questions that you're going to ask me determine that. So, hey, I'm sorry if I sound like I'm beating you up here a bit, John. That's not my intention.
No, I appreciate it. I think it's eye-opening.
You're a good communicator, and you're comfortable communicating. So what that often means is you know, sort of freelance on it. Don't do that. Don't freeform jazz on this. Just copy the script. Even if that means you're saying it in the way John speaks, you've got to say the right things. And the right things cause the prospect to say, yeah, thanks, I'll look forward to getting that. Then you can say, hey, by the way, you thinking about making a move in the next 3 to 6 months? If you were to make a move, would you be staying here locally or moving out of the area? You know, do you have a realtor to help you when the time is right? Any idea when that might be? They're non-intrusive questions, but they really get the prospect to converse with you, right? So you can determine how good they are. So let's say that I get to the point where I say this, hey, John, I've actually got a realtor that I'm kind of working with. They're sending me properties, and they've taken me out to see a few properties. So, you know, I'm getting some properties from them.
Well, are you finding all of the properties, or have you found a home that was ideal for your purposes?
No, not yet.
Well, would you like me to email you daily updates of all homes as they come on the market that match your home buying criteria?
So is that different than what you're sending me right now?
Well, I'm not sure what the realtor is sending you, but our list includes
No, that's not what I said.
foreclosures.
That's not what I said. I said, is that different than the list of properties that you're preparing to send me right now?
What I sent to you by email were a few of the homes that are available, but I don't know what's coming up tomorrow or next week, so yes, it would be.
Okay. Yeah, that would be good.
Our list would include any bank foreclosures, company-owned properties, or other distress sales. It's a completely free service, and of course, you're never obligated to buy a home. Would this interest you?
Yeah, no, it would.
Okay. When could we get together for about 15, 20 minutes so I could take down exactly what you're looking for?
I don't really want to meet with a realtor just yet. We're just, you know, we got, as I said, you know, we got a realtor sending us some properties, and, you know, that's great for right now. So if you want to send us some properties as well, you know, if we see something we like, we'll give you a call, but we're just not really ready right now to meet with someone.
Well, I understand that you're working with a realtor and that you're not ready right now. But rather than email you hundreds of homes which may or may not match your criteria, or where you risk missing out on the one perfect one, if we could get together for about 20 minutes, I have a form that I fill out and I could take down exactly what you're looking for. Would this interest you?
Yeah, it does. I just, you know, I don't know when we're in a position to actually buy a property. So, you know, I mean, it's
well,
just
that's okay.
too fast.
That's okay. This is only a list of properties that would match your criteria, whether or not you wanted a 3-bedroom or a tree-lined street. You're picking what your needs are. I'm not picking what I think would be a good home for you. And it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. There's no obligation, but then this way, the only homes I'm sending you are the homes that match your criteria exactly.
I gotcha. Okay.
So would we be able to meet for 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah. Let me talk to my wife, and we'll figure out a time. And I guess that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, and leave your checkbook home. Don't bring your credit cards. There's absolutely no fee. It's just simply so I don't waste your time by sending you homes that wouldn't be appropriate.
Right. Okay. Okay. So are these going to be different than what I'm getting from the other agent?
Well, I'm not sure what they're sending you, but it's going to be properties that I don't know exist right now. As homes come on the market, they'll be sent to you directly, and you'll see the homes probably before anyone else, and you'll be able to act quickly on a home that would be ideal for you.
Right. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll talk to my wife later on this morning, and we'll pick a time, and I'll give you a shout back.
Okay. Would it be okay if I follow up with you tomorrow?
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much, James. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Okay. Don't do that. Here's what you want to say. Why don't we do this? Let's set up a tentative time, and if you speak to your wife and it doesn't work, then we'll change it. You can call me back, not to set it, but call me back to change it. Right?
Beautiful.
Doesn't that make more sense? We're both on the phone right now. Let's set up a tentative time. When would likely be a good time? When you think it'll be good, let's book it, and just call me back and we can move it. But if it's fine, then good. We've got it in there, and we will meet. Right? What's better? Evenings, afternoons, weekends? What's good? And I wouldn't offer weekends on a Monday. So today's Monday. I would not be saying weekend. Don't even mention the word weekend until at least Wednesday. Because you know what's going to happen. If it's Monday and you say weekends, guess what they're going to say? Yeah, the weekend. And then you say, okay, what's better, this Saturday or Sunday? And they'll say, no, this weekend's bad. Whoa. So now it's 2 weeks? That appointment ain't happening. Okay, but here's the thing that I want to, I'm glad you volunteered to do this role play. Here's what we got to remember is that what we're doing is we're taking our prospect through a series of baby steps, okay? So the purpose of the phone call is to determine how good they are. Are you committed to another agent? I want to know if I'm wasting my time. If it's clear that they're not committed to another agent, we want to figure out, okay, so how good are they? Like if they're looking around at properties and calling off of ads, giving up their anonymity, they're pretty good. So you want to book an appointment with them, and all you've got to do to book the appointment is make it very, very clear that in order for you to do a good job, sitting down for 10 or 15 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes is the way that you're going to make sure that they're getting the right properties. And then, like you did, you cannot emphasize enough, hey, you're never obligated to buy anything, right? Like this isn't about you buying a home today. It's about you finding homes, right? If you're looking for properties right now, which you are because you responded to my ad, you're missing out on some awesome properties. Let me email them to you. It'll make it a lot easier, and you'll get everything, especially the hard-to-find deals. You don't have to buy one ever if you don't want to. You could buy one in 6 months if you wanted to. You could buy one in a year. You could buy one never. There is no obligation to buy one. What I'm focused on is you knowing about all of the best properties and the best deals that suit what your family's looking for. And it's free, so don't bring your wallet or checkbook. When's a good time for you? Days or evenings? And you book the appointment. So, hey, you know what? Like all of these webinars, we record this. So you and I have been talking for 10 minutes or 15 minutes here. You know what? I would suggest that once we put this up on the website, and I think Andrea emails this out to all of our members as well, once you go back and just listen to our little conversation here and let this really kind of seep into your brain and become part of your everyday vocabulary so that it just naturally just comes out of your mouth, because we really are saying the same things over and over and over again. There's nothing new. No one's saying anything new. It's not like somebody says something, I'm like, I've never heard that before. Of course we've heard it before, and we'll hear it again. So
because it works.
We can be prepared. Right. So anyway, thanks so much for volunteering, John, and I'll look forward to speaking to you again.
Thank you, James.
Welcome.
Our next guest with an audio question is Elizabeth Kennedy. Your mic is now open.
Hi there, guys. How you doing this morning?
Hi, how are you, Elizabeth?
Fine, thanks. I have a quick question because I have a little bit of a conflict.
Okay.
I've been a Craig Proctor member since it'll be almost a year now, coming up in September or August. and I benefited greatly. However, on the boot camp in Huntington Beach, I do have a conflict on that day. I was wondering, is it similar to the boot camp I've already attended last year?
Yeah. Which one did you go to last year?
About the same time.
Okay.
It was there in Anaheim, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
Yeah, was it? Yeah, was there in
Yeah.
Anaheim?
I mean, of course, it'll be similar. Yes, it'll be similar to that. I mean, we're always refining. But it will be similar. Now, here's what I would suggest. If you have a conflict and you can't make it, then you'll come to the next one. And we will do another boot camp. We'll likely do another boot camp up in the Bay Area a little later on in the year. So hold on to your hat, and we will do that.
That's not an option either, but anyway, because I live in the Palm Springs area, so
okay.
I would
Well,
go to the Huntington Beach one if I can. But like I said, if I already went to the one last year, I've been to the Platinum coaching group also, and all that kind of good stuff. So my coaches.
Well, don't forget as well that in September we're doing the breakout session for the entire 3 days of the September Super Conference in Anaheim is essentially the coaching boot camp. So you're definitely going to come to that one.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that'll be your next. Circle that one on your calendar. That'll be your next live event.
Okay.
Will be the 3-day conference because you're not sitting in the main conference. You're going to be in the breakout sessions the whole time.
Okay.
All right.
That works for me. Thank you so much, James.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go on to another chat question from Tom. If using a Wise Agent for contact management, should I input all Success website and leads generated elsewhere in there, and what are the benefits of that? Because it seems that Success website and Zillow, for example, already have a contact management system.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You can't have multiple contact management systems. The whole point of a contact management system, okay, if I put it this way, the benefit of having a contact management system is to be organized. But it would be like having several day timers. Just by virtue of having more than one would be disorganized, right? You'd be completely disorganized by having more than one. So we can't do that. We got to use one, and I love the fact that you're using Wise Agent because you can take all the leads from all the sources and dump all of them into Wise Agent. And you can access your Wise Agent from anywhere, your computer, your phone, your everything. It's easy. Yeah, you know what? The idea of having several contact management systems means you have several databases and several day timers. Think about that. That means I could have 3 appointments booked at 11 a.m. on Tuesday morning, right? Each day timer. So we definitely don't want to do that. I like your idea, having Wise Agent and all of the leads, all of them go into one contact management database, and I've always liked Wise Agent ever since it was first demonstrated to me several years ago. I was like, this one is the best. It does everything. It's extremely accessible. Anyway, but as Craig says, the best contact management system is the one that you'll use. So, but to use more than one, I definitely think that's an error.
Okay, Beverly Perez, she typed her question, but she also raised her hand, so I'll go ahead and open her mic. Beverly, please go ahead.
Can you hear me? I'm not sure.
I can, Beverly.
Okay, great. I typed my question because now I forgot what it was. Well, it was about using the seller's USP. The one that I'm trying to implement, it says your home sold in 60 days, guaranteed at a price acceptable to you, or I'll pay you $2,000 cash. So I want to know if you can give me an example from phone call to appointment, how to handle this USP.
Okay, the first thing that I want you to consider is this. In your marketplace,
yes,
is the average days on market longer than 60 days?
No, that's right. The average days on market is 60 days.
So would you say that right now in your marketplace, it's pretty quick? The turnover is pretty quick?
Yes.
Compared to normal?
Yes.
See, here's why I say that, because what we don't want to do is we don't want to select a USP that doesn't create an advantage, right? Like if everybody knows that homes are selling quickly, then you saying I'm going to sell your home quickly is kind of like, yeah, I know, but the house across the street sold in like 4 days.
Yeah.
If the home across the street sold in 4 days and you come along and say, I guarantee to sell it in 60, it kind of doesn't sound, it sounds like you sure are going to take your sweet time. So what I want you to do is I definitely want to make sure you work closely with your coach and really look at the marketplace. What if your USP was a little bit different? What if it said this? Your home sold for 100% of asking price guaranteed, or I'll pay you $3,000 or $2,000 at closing.
Okay.
In
Because
other
it's more of a
words,
seller's market.
if I said to a seller, what would be more important to you, selling your home quickly or selling your home for more money? What would be more important to you? You would have to assess your marketplace. So I'm not assuming this, but this is my fear, is that the seller would say, well, I want to get the most amount of money because I already know homes are selling fast, right? Homes are selling fast. I already know that. So if your guarantee to sell my home fast doesn't really sound all that fast, now I have no reason to respond.
Okay.
I don't know if I've explained that well, but
no, that makes a lot of sense.
I really want you to consider this. Now, with either case, in either case, let's say, regardless of which one you go with, remember this. The condition of the guarantee is that the prospect agrees with you, mutually agrees with you on market value. Okay, so that's the number one condition. They must agree with you on what market value is. So you sit down with them and you look at some of the comparable properties that have sold. Based on those comparable properties that have sold, let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to look at those properties that have sold and they're going to see this one sold in 17 days. This one sold in 112 days, but it sold 13 days after the price was reduced. This one sold in 37 days. This one sold in 17 days, right? So not only by looking at comparable properties are you going to determine the market value of the property, but you're also going to determine the days on market. If your guarantee says, I guarantee to sell your home in 60 days, and you're looking at all these homes that have all sold in less than 30, for example, it's going to take away the benefit of your guarantee. Do you understand that?
Yes, but the only thing is that, like, the homes, one of the conditions will be, homes that are 200,000 or higher. Those homes take 60 days to sell, because I've been getting a lot of leads with homes, everybody wanting homes under 100, and they're either not financeable, they're not available. I don't really want to deal with that market.
Right.
So $200,000.
Okay, but that's good. That's good. But think about this then. For those properties that are over that price range, when you look at those comps, when you're looking at those comps with the seller, they're going to see the days on market, and they're going to see that the days on market are over 60 days in a lot of cases, right? So then your 60 days, in that circumstance, your 60-day guarantee would now have a lot of merit, right? Based on the days on market. So this is why having this discussion one-on-one with your coach is such a good idea. Really looking at your market statistics to make sure that we don't make a mistake. And by the way, do you know that you could develop a USP that goes like this? Your home sold in 60 days at 100% of asking price guaranteed, or I'll pay you $2,000 at closing.
Okay.
You could do that. So you respond to my ad, or I'm face-to-face with you, and you say, how does this program work? Well, it works like this. First of all, we need to establish the value of your property, and we're going to do that based on other properties that have sold that are like yours. So we're going to take a look at all these properties so that we can agree on what your property is worth based on these other properties. Now, you're perfectly okay to list it at the high end of market value, but you are not going to overprice the property. what you're also going to do is you're going to make sure that if they take you up on this guarantee, then it means that you're getting paid your full commission.
Right.
You get full commission then, because you're risking $2,000 of your commission if one of two things happens. If it takes you 61 days or longer to sell the property, you're giving up $2,000. If you sell the home for 99% of asking price and you do that in a week, you're giving up $2,000. So the condition is I will risk that, but the reason I'm risking it is because of my performance. You get full commission. And bearing this in mind, the purpose of the USP isn't just for prospects that take you up on the guarantee. It's because it creates a perception, and the perception is one of competence and confidence. When you present me with that USP, I'm looking at you thinking, well, you obviously know what you're doing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be offering me this guarantee. So even if I say this to you, look, Beverly, I'd kind of like to try it a little higher. I think the market is pretty good, and I'd like to try it a little higher. So maybe we won't take you up on your guarantee right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay, because understand, your guarantee still did its job. The job of the guarantee is it set you apart from other realtors that would never offer something like that. The perception they have of you is you put your money where your mouth is,
Mm-hmm.
right? So remember, with Craig's Guaranteed Sale Program, very rarely did a seller ever take Craig up on the guarantee. Very rarely. But the perception is what put Craig on a pedestal. This is what is going to happen with your USP as well. The difference with your USP is it's far more likely that a prospect takes you up on it because it's a really good USP. It's a very strong offer.
What about what domain name do you recommend if I? But basically, I'll go with your home sold in 60 days guarantee at 100% of market value.
No,
Or
you
I'll
want
pay
to say
you
100%. You want to say 100% of asking price. 100%
Okay.
of asking price.
Okay, 100% of asking price.
It says in writing, asking price is mutually agreed on between you and the seller based on market value.
So I'm going to change it to that. Since your home sold in 60 days at a price or 100% of the asking price, or I'll pay you $2,000. What domain name would you suggest? What different domain names?
I would do something that has your marketplace in it and 60-day guarantee.
Okay.
Or how about this? Or it needs to have the word 60 days sold.
Okay.
Right? 60
Okay.
days sold, and you can use the digits 60. Right?
Okay.
So, see, if you just were to look up right now, www.60daysold.com, it would be taken. I'm certain it would be taken. But if you put your name of your marketplace in front of it,
Mm-hmm.
then you would find that it might not be, or
Okay.
other variations of it would be available.
Okay, wonderful. No, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm glad I did it because I haven't printed out the business cards yet. And do we have time to talk about the buyer's USP, or somebody else has to?
Yeah, well, here's what you want to do. Make sure that when you're offering a buyer guarantee, that it focuses on availability of properties, as opposed to if you're going to have it on your business card. See, here's my concern. If on your business card you've got, I'm going to sell your home for 100% of asking price, and on the other side it says, hey, buyers, I'm going to save you $5,000, you're scaring the other one away.
No, I'm thinking of having one buyer card and then one seller card separate.
Yeah, well, you could do that, or you could have a buyer USP on the other side. But your buyer USP doesn't have to be a monetary guarantee.
Okay, because that's what I was doing. The USP that I was doing.
Like, here's a great service USP.
Yeah.
A great service USP is simply something like this. Free list of must-sell private listings, bank foreclosures, company-owned and distressed sales. Call me for your free list. Remember, they have your business card. That means they met you, right? The only way they get your business card, it means they've met you. You've made contact in some way. That's why they have your business card. So your USP is going to compel them. The way you're doing that is by offering a buyer properties. Buyers want properties. That's what they want.
Yeah.
So offer them what they want. Buyers want properties. So you're going to offer them great properties that they can't get elsewhere, or at least that they perceive as they can't get elsewhere. What you're saying is this: if you're thinking about calling me and you're a buyer, let me give you a reason why you should call me. That's really what you're doing. You're a buyer. You're thinking of calling me. Here's a reason why you should pick up the phone right now and call me. I'm going to provide you with an immediate free list of awesome deals that are available in the marketplace right now.
Okay, I'm glad to say that.
I'll tell you right now, that is more compelling to more buyers than any guarantee.
Okay. Yeah, because I was doing the $10,000 saving ones, but yeah, you're right. If a seller sees it, it doesn't it's gonna, okay.
Right. I don't want you to save me $10,000. It's just see, the performance guarantee for the seller makes more sense.
Okay.
Right. It makes more sense for the seller because they're selling their home, they're selling their asset. They're not looking for lots. Right? They're not looking for variety, choice, and options. They want to sell their home, and we know what they want. When they're selling their home, we know what they want. You know, when you say sellers want buyers, well, then I could dig a little deeper. Go, well, hang on. Why do they want buyers? Because the more buyers, the more money they get. Okay, so really, it's not that they want buyers. It's that they want money. A seller would be happy with one buyer who, as long as that one buyer is willing to pay top dollar for their property. So we know what the seller cares about. They want their home sold quickly, and they want the most amount of money. You've addressed that in your USP. It's addressed. You've done it. On the buy side, buyers are looking for variety, choice, options. They want lots to look at, and they want great deals. So that's exactly what you're going to offer them. And now you have the best of both worlds, and it doesn't conflict.
Right. I think what I was planning to do was conflicting. Yeah, 10,000 for the buyer and 2,000 for the seller, and yeah, but I got it. Makes sense. Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
I'll look forward to seeing how that works. Make sure you send it in, and we'll take a look at it.
Our next questions we'll go ahead and take in the chat box. This was from Sarah. I'm running a Google pay-per-click ad and several leads leave only their email. Is there a script or template that I can use to respond back to them via email since I'm not sure how to respond otherwise?
I hate to ask this, Andrea, but can you read that one more time?
I can, not a problem. She says, I'm running some Google pay-per-click ads and the leads or possible prospects are only leaving their email address. Is there a script or template that she can use to respond back to them via email since she's not sure how to get back with them since there's no phone?
Yeah, there are two facets to this answer. Okay, the first is this. What you want to do is you want to look at your landing page and change the landing page so that more of the prospects leave their contact information. See, what's happening right now is you're making it okay for them to just leave an email address. What you want to do is when they try to hit submit, it requires them to leave their name and and a cell phone number, right? So that way, now will some of them go away? Yeah, but some of them will put in their name and their phone number. Will all of them? Of course not, but some will. What if 2 prospects every day did that because it was required? That would be over 700 a year that gave you their contact details. Now, if 2 of them did it and 8 of them went away, well, okay, we can't dwell on the 8 that went away, but we sure can focus on the 2 that did. So that's number 1. Now, for the ones that leave incorrect or incomplete information and you have an email address, here's what you want to do. You want to send them an email that says, please complete all of the required fields and resubmit your information in order for your properties to be processed or to be sent, something along those lines. And what you're going to do in the email is you're going to have a link at the bottom below that verbiage that they click on, and when they click on it, it takes them directly back to the landing page that they were already on, and it says basically try again, right? In other words, you need to complete all of the fields in order to receive the information that you're looking for. Please complete all of the required fields in order to receive the information you're looking for. Click on the link below. Take 3 minutes to complete this, or a minute to complete this. And then when they click on the link, all it does is it takes them right back to the landing page that they were on originally. Now, will all of them, upon going back there, will all of them fill out the information? No. Will some? Yes. There you go. Okay, let's take one more, Andrea.
Okay, our final question today comes from Cassie regarding the callback script. How would you do the opening greeting when dealing with a buyer lead from Z Buyer? They didn't ask for any specific information. They were just searching.
Well, what you did do was you gave them access. Okay, so remember this, the purpose of the call, the purpose of the introduction is to elicit a reaction of thank you. Okay, so this is how we break up the universal callback script. The purpose of each part of the script. The introduction, the purpose of the introduction is to answer the question, who are you, why are you bothering them, and to elicit a reaction of appreciation. So, I am me, I'm calling because you were on my website looking for properties for sale, searching for properties for sale on my website. I just wanted to give you a quick courtesy call and let you know that I did give you access to search for properties through my website portal. I hope that's okay. What we need to do, all we need to do is elicit a reaction of appreciation from the prospect, right? Thank you. That's what we need the prospect to say is thank you. So the way we're going to get a thank you is by simply reiterating whatever it is that you did for them. Did you send them properties? Did you allow them access to properties? Whatever it was you did, you're going to say, I'm calling as a courtesy to let you know I did get your request to search for properties, to access some properties, whatever it is. Wanted to give you a courtesy call to let you know that I've done that, and that you can go ahead and do that or look at properties or whatever it is. I hope that's okay. The reason you say I hope that's okay is I hope that's okay is kind of twofold. In other words, what you're saying is I hope it's okay that I'm calling you as a courtesy, and I hope it's okay that I did the work for you that you asked for. In either case, the prospect is likely going to say, yeah, that's great, thank you. Now, once they say thank you, then we can go to phase 2 of the script, which is no different than any other prospect. Doesn't matter where they came from, Z-Buyer or anywhere else. When they respond, what we're going to do is we're going to ask them some questions. Hey, by the way, you're thinking about making a move. When we make the offer, knowing that they've already accessed some properties, it's really no different. What we're going to say is this. Look, there are great properties that come on the market immediately. Some of them represent a very good deal. If I can email you every day all of the hard to find properties that match exactly what you're looking for, we reduce the chance of you missing out on that property. There are bank foreclosures, there are private listings, there are pocket listings, there are probates, there are distress sales. There are properties that are made available that I know of before other buyers do. I can automatically email you those properties as soon as they come available on the market. It's absolutely free. There's no obligation whatsoever. Would that be something of interest to you, receiving those daily emails? Prospect says, well, yeah, that'd be awesome. Great. When have you got 15 or 20 minutes so we can sit down together and go through your criteria in more detail so that I'm only sending you the perfect properties and I'm not missing out on anything at the same time? And please bear in mind, it is absolutely free. There's no obligation to buy anything, but I do want to do a very, very good job for you, and I'm flexible. When would be good for you? Something during the day or in the evenings? And you book the appointment. And it doesn't matter where the prospect came from. It doesn't matter. The prospect could say, well, I'm already looking at properties, but they could say that for anything. That's an objection. What you're saying is, yeah, I know, I'm not sending you just any properties. See, you need to know about the best properties, the best deals. Are you interested in great deals? Because you know they go quickly. What you don't want is to only look at properties that have been overlooked by the other buyers. That means what you're looking at are the scraps. You don't want the scraps. You want the best properties. What I'm suggesting is I can email you the best ones as they come on the market, regardless of what source those properties are from. Foreclosure, bank-owned, company-owned, private listings. They're going to be sent to you before the other buyers know about them. Would that be helpful to you? Yes, it's free. There's no obligation. But I want to do a good job. When have you got 15 or 20 minutes to get together? And it doesn't matter whether that prospect came from ZWire. It doesn't matter whether they came from Bold Leads. It doesn't matter whether they came from anything. Your own ad. It's exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the introduction that elicits a reaction of appreciation from that prospect by calling as a courtesy to let them know that you've sent them or provided them with whatever it was that they asked for, so that they say, thanks, appreciate you calling, thanks for that. They think the call's over now. Thank you. Hope that helps. Okay, Andrea, thank you so very much for everything. And don't forget, Thursday is our role play session. Friday is our ad clinic session. I'd love to look at any ads. I'll be on with Craig for both of those, by the way. So I'll super look forward to that. And anyone that has questions in the meantime, feel free to send an email to me. It's james@craigproctor.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Andrea, thanks so much for your help again, and we'll see you all soon.
Thank you, James. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll talk to you all very soon.